Okay, good morning, students. Am I audible? I repeat, am I audible? Okay,
Hello,
good.
Manish. Okay, it's good. Video and audio is good.
Okay, sir.
Hearing is also okay.
Okay, sir. Okay, I will start the session in 2 minutes. Stay till only 25 people have joined. Let's see. Okay, let me start today's session. So before starting today's session, let me make you recollect those things which we discussed in our previous unit. So in unit 1, we have discussed the basic fundamentals of computer networks followed by the reference models. So we have discussed two reference model. One is OSI reference model followed by TCP/IP reference model. And we also discussed the differences between those two reference models followed by what are the different network topologies and what are the different network types that are there in computer network. So we have discussed all those things. Now, from this second unit onwards, we are going to see in depth about each and every layer that we just learned in the first unit. So in OSI reference model, the first layer, the bottom layer is physical layer. So we're going to start with physical layer. So in unit 2, we are going to discuss about physical layer. In unit 3, we are going to move to the next layer, that is data link layer. Then in the later unit, we are going to discuss the network layer, transport layer, followed by application layer. Okay, so let me start this unit 2. So in this today's class, you are going to understand what are the basic properties that is involved in computer network communication with respect to physical communication medium. Okay, as you can see on the diagram on the left side, the physical layer is the layer which is actually interacting with the communication medium. Okay, so the medium can be a wire or wireless. So this medium can be a wired medium or wireless medium. Okay, so irrespective of whether it is wired or wireless, you are not worrying about how to communicate. Okay, so even though you are using a wireless Wi-Fi for your communication, for example this Zoom meeting, or you may be using some LAN cables, that means some broadband connections for this Zoom meeting, irrespective of that, you are all using the application in the same manner. You are able to hear me, you are all able to see the lecture, see the PPT on the screen. So all these things are possible because you are not worrying about the bottom layer, that is the physical layer. I mean the communication medium. So the physical layer is taking care of this communication medium, how it is going to convert zeros and ones into the corresponding signals. So if it is wired medium, which type of wired medium it is. Okay, if it is wireless medium, what is the frequency range that is used in that wireless medium. So based on that, the physical layer is going to convert the zeros and ones into the corresponding signals. Okay, so in this particular class, today's session, you are going to learn those physical properties. We are not going to get into the technical thing in this session. We are going to concentrate on the physical properties. If you are clear with these physical properties, you can easily understand the later coming topics. Okay, so so before starting the physical layer properties, let me revise what are the functionalities of physical layer. So in our previous unit, we have discussed the functionalities of physical layer. So let's revise those things. So physical layer will take care of representing mean your bits into the corresponding signal. So how the 0 is represented, how 1 is represented. When you move from 0 to 1, how the signal is changed. When you move from 1 to 0, how the signal is changed. So all these things must be taken care by the physical layer, that is representation of bits will be taken care by the physical layer. I also explained few examples in our last class. Okay, then how much speed you are going to send the data, whether you are going to send say for example 10 bits per second or 100 bits per second or 1000 bits per second. So if the sender is not in an agreement with the receiver about how much speed, how much data rate he is going to use, the receiver will misunderstand the communication. So let me draw one small diagram. So if you recall, if you are able to recollect this diagram, so for example, sender has sent a signal something like this for 1 second. Okay, for 1 second, he sent 5 levels, 5 levels as it appears in this diagram. So this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5. That is 5 bits per second according to sender. Okay, now if the sender and receiver is not made an agreement about the data rate, for example, the receiver is synced to something like 10 bits per second, what he will do? This 1 second interval he will divide into 10 time periods. Okay, 10 intervals. This 1 second will be divided into 10 intervals. That means, so yeah, so this one will be first interval, second interval, third interval, fourth interval, fifth, sixth, seventh, eighth, ninth, and 10th. So now what the sender has sent is, sender has sent 0, 1, 0, 1, 0. Now according to sender, this entire thing is 1 bit, but according to receiver, that is 2 bits, 0, 0. 1, 1, 1 means 1, 1, 0 means he will understand it as 0, 0. 1 means 1, 1, 0, 0. So when the sender sent 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, receiver received 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 0, 1, 0. That is the problem with miscommunication related to data rate. So both entities must agree to the same data rate while communicating. Okay, so this physical layer is going to take care of this data rate. Okay, and the third thing is synchronization. So synchronization means so both agreed to how to represent the bits in the same manner. So let's say both agreed that a high signal will be used for 1, a low signal will be used for 0. Okay, both agreed to the same interval. So this is the interval. Okay, so sender sent 1, 0, 1, 0, 1. If receiver also begins receiving at this point, that means if both are in sync, then there is no problem. If let's say receiver started listening to the communication after some time, let's say after 2 intervals, he started listening here from this particular point. So what he will get? He will get 1, 0, sorry. Yeah, he will get, let me clear just a minute. Yeah. So it is 1, 0, 1, 1, 0, the sender sent. But receiver started listening from here. So he will get only 1, 1, 0. So sender sent 5 bits. Okay, whereas receiver only received 3 bits. Okay, so again, this is because lack of synchronization. So physical layer is going to take care of this synchronization also. Okay, and the next functionality that the physical layer is taking is going to take care is interface. So the physical layer is going to provide an interface to the software to the physical medium. So physical medium is a hardware. So the OSI reference model mostly is a software. So how this software is going to interact with the hardware, so that is going to be taken care by this physical layer. Then line configuration. So line configuration means whether the line is a point-to-point configuration or multi-point configuration. So depending on what type of topology you are using, what type of medium you are using. If you are using wide communication medium, depending on whether you are going with bus topology or ring topology or star topology, your communication must be different. If you are using wireless, it is completely multi-point communication. So if a person sends a signal through Wi-Fi, everyone in that Wi-Fi will get that signal. Okay, so this physical layer must do that line configuration. So depending on what type of medium we are using, what topology we are using, depending on the those physical properties, this physical layer is going to configure your line. Okay, then the topology is, as I said, so whether the communication is happening in mesh topology, then there is no need to worry about collisions. Okay, there is no need to worry about traffic. If they are going with star topology, then they need to think about traffic. When they are using ring topology, no need to think about traffic, but you need to wait for token. Okay, so if they are going with bus topology, it is a multi-point connection. So depending on what topologies you are using, so your physical layer is going to configure the communication and transmission modes. Okay, so whether you can communicate in simplex mode, or you can communicate in half duplex mode, or you can communicate in full duplex mode, depending on that medium, this physical layer is going to decide the transmission mode. Okay, so if the communication is purely one-sided, the communication medium can only allow only one-side communication, then it will put the transmission mode as simplex mode. Okay, if the communication is two-sided, but the communication medium only allows one side at a time, then it will configure the medium in half duplex mode. In the same way, if the communication is two-side communication, the medium can support two-side communication at the same time, then it will configure the medium in full duplex mode. So all these things are very important. So these things will be taken care by the physical layer. And one more thing that is taken care by the physical layer is it is going to define whether you are doing a baseband communication or broadband transmission, or you can call it as passband transmission. Okay, whether you are doing a baseband transmission or passband transmission. Maybe you are not familiar with these two terms, but remember these two terms. We are going to discuss these two terms in the coming topics. Okay, the more explanation is needed for these two terms, so I am not going to use some time for those things here, because we are going to learn about those baseband, broadband, or passband transmissions in the coming topics. Okay, so let me repeat. So what we are what the physical layer is taking care of. So physical layer is taking care of presentation of bits, how your bits are going to be presented. Okay, then how much speed you are going to transmit the data. And the third thing is whether the sender and receiver is in sync or not. Fourth thing is how your software is going to interface with this physical medium, which is an hardware, and how the line is to be configured, whether it is in point-to-point configuration or multi-point configuration, and in which topology your communication medium is connected. Depending on that, how the communication must be done will be taken care by the physical layer. And the transmission mode, whether depending on the medium, whether we can go with simplex mode or half duplex mode or full duplex mode, that will be decided by this physical layer. And it will also deal with baseband and broadband transmission. So broadband term is also called as passband. Remember this. So broadband or passband, both are similar. So whether you are going with baseband transmission or passband transmission, so all these things must be taken care by the physical layer. Okay, so is it clear with this particular slide? I repeat, is it clear with this particular slide? Okay, good. Now the remaining slides that I'm going to show and explain will take you back to physics. Okay, a little. So some you may be familiar with. So the first thing that we are going to learn, the first physical property that we are going to learn is the difference between analog signal and digital signals. Okay, so let me show you a few examples. So as you can see on the above diagram, so an analog signal is continuous in nature. Okay, so time is considered as a continuous feature, and every analog signal has a few parameters. Okay, so as you can see on the left side, the first diagram, this one. So these two signals, I think you can see the difference between these two signals. So this signal is having more highs and lows compared to this one. That means this signal, a time period of each cycle is less compared to this bottom signal. That means this is a high frequency signal, this is a low frequency signal. So as you can see, time period of each cycle and frequency is inverse to one another. Okay, and the other parameter is the height of the signal. So that is nothing but the amplitude. So depending on the amplitude level, you can say these two signals, if you compare, the bottom signals have amplitude is very low. Okay, it is almost near to zero, whereas the top signals amplitude is very high. So this peak amplitude means the highest voltage. See, this y-axis normally represents in our electrical signals voltage, how much voltage you are receiving. If you receive 0, that means 0. If you receive 0 volts means 0. If you receive, for example, 1 volt, so it is somewhere here. If you receive 2 volts, it will be somewhere here. If you receive 5 volts, it will be somewhere here. So normally in our digital communications, in our normal network communication, you will be using 0 to 5 volts every communication, 0 to 3.3 volts. So let's fix to 5 volts. So if you get 5 volts, then you can say you are at the peak. If you get 0 volts, you are at the bottom. So analog signal will be continuous in nature, and the time period of analog signal will be inversely proportional to the frequency of that signal. So f equal to 1 by t, and this signal's y-axis level indicates the amplitude of the signal. So everyone is familiar with these three terms, right? Time period, frequency, and amplitude. I repeat, you all are familiar with time period, frequency, and amplitude. Yes or no? Okay. Now, I think this is a little bit tricky concept, phase. So, are you familiar with the concept of phase, signal phase? Yeah. So, signal phase means normally phase will be represented with reference to a common signal. So normally if you take a sine wave always will be started with 0 at 0 time. Okay, so it will start with 0 time, I mean at 0 amplitude at 0 time, and after say 1/4 of the interval, for example, let me draw a little bit. Okay, so from here to here, one time period. Okay, so from this point to this point, it is one time period. So if you take this one, so this is 1/4 t. So at 1/4 t, it will reach the peak amplitude. Then at t/2, it will reach 0. Then at 3t/4, it will reach the least amplitude, that is, let's say -5 volts. Then here it will get back to 0. Now, if you shift a sine wave by 90 degrees, so are you familiar with the sine wave? Are you familiar with this particular equation? A sine wave is representing equation y equal to sine 2phi ft with respect to frequency and time. Equation ఎప్పుడైనా చూసారమ్మా? Yeah, sine wt. It is also called as sine wt. 2phi f means w, wavelength. So I think you know this equation. So in this equation, if this is the equation, then this phase is called 0. If I put this something like sine 2 phi ft plus 90 degrees, plus 90, then it is a 90 degree plus 90 degree phase shifted sine wave. Okay, so as you can see here, when I substitute t equal to 0, actually sine 2 phi ft for t equal to 0 is 0, but for sine 2 phi ft plus 90 for t equal to 0, I will get 1. So this is what you can see here. So at 0, you started at high amplitude, peak amplitude, that is 1, because the signal is shifted by 90 degrees, plus 90 degrees. Okay, if you take this one, it is shifted by plus 180 degrees. So this is called shifting, phase shifting. Okay, so the first signal is shifted by 0 degrees, the second signal is shifted by 90 degrees, the third signal is shifted by 180 degrees. So this is called phase shifting. So is it clear about phase shifting? I repeat, is it clear? Okay. So these are the 4 basic things you must be clear. Okay, so the 4 things I will write here. So first thing is frequency. Okay, second thing is time period, third thing is amplitude, and fourth thing is phase. So these 4 properties gives you a signal. So the signal can be represented with these 4 things. So without these 4 things, you can't represent a simple analog signal. Okay, I said a simple, remember this one. Now, how can you represent a complex analog signal? So a complex analog signal means, for example, I will give you a signal. Okay, something like this. Okay, so my drawing skills are a little bit low, so bear with me. So here, as you can see, this is one time period. So here, from here to here, the signal is in one manner. From here to here, it is different. From here to here, it is different. From here to here, it is. So as you can see here, so this is something like a complex signal. Now, how to represent this complex signal in our, by using simple sine waves. So how to represent them? As you see, a digital communication, if you take a digital communication signal, will be something like this. You may think this is very simple signal. Let me draw them clearly. Yeah. Just give me a minute. As you can see, the digital signal will be something like this. Again, just give me a minute, guys. I'm going to capture something. Yeah. So remaining people, just wait. So these, the following people, 518, 536, 542, 5M1, 5N1, 512, and someone like Dark Joker, these people are not joined with their audio. If they are not joined with audio, means they can't hear me. Okay, so and this dark joker, I don't know whoever this is. I'm not going to allow such people into this room. Okay, I'm going to remove them, and the remaining either must join in the meeting with audio. I will see for 5 minutes. After that, also, if they are not with audio, I'm going to remove them. So, Sias, please convey that to those people. They can't hear me. Okay, so let me continue. So as you can see on this slide, a simple digital signal will be something like this. You maybe think it is simple, but it is very complex with respect to the hardware implementation. So signal must be generated by a hardware component. So there is no hardware component in the world which can swiftly move from a low to high. Okay, సో దట్ మీన్స్ సింపుల్ గా చెప్పాలి ఏంటమ్మా, అప్పటి వరకు 0 volts జనరేట్ చేసి సడన్ గా 5 volts జనరేట్ చేయాలి అంటే దేర్ ఈస్ నో సచ్ డివైస్ అవైలబుల్ ఇన్ ద వరల్డ్. సో దిస్ ఈస్ ద మోస్ట్ కాంప్లెక్స్ సిగ్నల్ యాక్చువల్లీ. A digital signal is the most complex signal that is there, and there is no communication medium which can carry a digital signal. Okay, so there is no communication medium which can carry a digital signal, because as you can see here, this straight line represents zero frequency. Okay, and this sudden change represents infinite frequency. So there is no communication medium which can carry both zero and infinite frequencies. So remember these two terms. So that is the reason the simplest digital signal is the most complex digital signal with the most complex signal with respect to communication. సో మనకి ఇది సింపుల్ గా కనిపిస్తుందమ్మా, బట్ హార్డ్వేర్ పాయింట్ ఆఫ్ వ్యూలో చెప్పాలంటే ఇదే కాంప్లెక్స్, అన్నిటికన్నా కాంప్లెక్స్. ఓకే, సో నా to show this equation as the complex equation, there is one particular person who studied on these equations. So the person is called Fourier. Okay, so if you are able to recollect this Fourier analysis from your physics, it is good. Otherwise, let me explain. So in 19th century, this French mathematician found out that any signal which is having some frequency, which is having time period, can be represented with simple sine waves by combining them together. Okay, not just with one sine wave. He said that by joining infinite number of sine and cosine waves, you can create any signal. You can say a digital signal also, as I say, shown in the just now. A simple digital signal can also be represented by combining infinite number of sine waves together, as you can see on the diagram on the right, I mean the equation on the right side. So as you can see here, so a signal which is having time period t, I mean capital T, can be represented using this equation. So here this is a constant, this is collection of multiple sine waves. So the sine wave frequency, the sine wave starts with sine 2 phi n equal to 1. So 2 phi ft to sine 2 phi infinite ft. అర్థమవుతుందా? At the same way, cos wave from 2 phi ft to 2 phi infinite ft. So it's let me show you one small diagram, then I think you will understand. Everyone observe this video. A sine wave which contains only one frequency. Now if you add one more frequency, okay, now your signal, what is shown with gray color, this gray color signal is the new signal. Okay, if you add one more sine wave, now this red color signal is generated. So this red color signal is the new signal. If you add one more sine wave, now you got this purple color, not this square wave. I'm saying the varying purple color thing. సో దీనికి ఇంకొక సైన్ వేవ్ యాడ్ చేశారనుకోండి, ఇంకొంచెం ఫ్రీక్వెన్సీ ఎక్కువ ఉన్నది, చిన్న యాంప్లిట్యూడ్ తక్కువ ఉన్నది, మీకు ఇంకొక లెవెల్ పెరుగుతుంది. అలా ఇన్ఫైనైట్ నెంబర్ యాడ్ చేసుకుంటూ వెళ్తే అప్పుడు మీకు ఈ స్మూత్ స్క్వేర్ వేవ్ జనరేట్ అవుతుందమ్మా. సో దట్ ఈస్ ద మెయిన్ లాజిక్ హియర్ విచ్ ఈస్ రిప్రజెంటెడ్ బై యూజింగ్ ద ఈక్వేషన్. సో కెన్ యూ ఏబుల్ టు అండర్స్టాండ్ దిస్ పర్టిక్యులర్ యానిమేషన్? లెట్ మీ షో యూ అగైన్. క్లియర్ గా చూడండి అమ్మా, ఇది ఒక సైన్ వేవ్, దీనికి యాంప్లిట్యూడ్ ఎక్కువ. దిస్ సర్కిల్ రేడియస్ రిప్రజెంట్స్ యాంప్లిట్యూడ్. See, in this particular case, this circle radius represents amplitude. Okay, and at the same time, it also something like the frequency is not shown here, but the circle, the speed of this line, with how much speed this line is rotating, represents the frequency. So this circle's radius represents amplitude. The speed of this line represents frequency. So it is rotating with a specific speed. ఇప్పుడు దీనికి మనం ఏం చేస్తున్నామంటే, we are going to add another sine wave where the sine wave's amplitude is little less, speed is more. సో లోపల మీరు అబ్జర్వ్ చేస్తే ఈ లోపల సర్కిల్లో ఈ లైన్ స్పీడ్ గా తిరుగుతుందమ్మా, కంపేర్ టు దిస్ అవుటర్ సర్కిల్, దిస్ బిగ్గర్ సర్కిల్. దిస్ సర్కిల్ is small but the frequency is high, so you are getting a combined signal which is something like this. Now if you add one more frequency which is a little high and amplitude is low, okay, you got the third one. So మీరు అబ్జర్వ్ చేస్తే థర్డ్ సర్కిల్ లో ఉన్న లైన్ ఇంకా స్పీడ్ గా తిరుగుతుంది, స్పీడ్ ఇంకా పెరిగింది, ఆ రేడియస్ ఏమో ఇంకా తగ్గింది. సో దట్ ఈస్ ద లాజిక్ హియర్. By doing like that, the Fourier said that you can generate any complex signal by simply combining multiple sine waves. So this is called Fourier analysis, Fourier theory. Okay, is it clear with this particular Fourier analysis? I'll go back to the equation if you are clear with this particular animation. I repeat, is it clear with this particular animation? Yeah, good. సో వీటిలో స్పీడ్స్ చేంజ్ చేయడం ద్వారా మీ బిట్ తగ్గుతుందన్న సిగ్నల్ కి, అట్ ద సేమ్ టైం రేడియసెస్ చేంజ్ చేయడం ద్వారా మీ యాంప్లిట్యూడ్స్ కూడా చేంజ్ అవుతాయి, యాంప్లిట్యూడ్ లెవెల్స్ కూడా. So different signals can be generated by combining multiple sine waves, cos waves, whatever you take. So this equation that is shown on the right side is the equation representation of the same animation that you just saw. మీరు ఏ యానిమేషన్ అయితే ఇప్పుడు చూసారో ఆ యానిమేషన్ కి ఈక్వేషన్ రిప్రజెంటేషన్ మీరు ఇక్కడ చూస్తున్నారు, వేర్ దిస్ an terms, bn and c terms are shown on the bottom. So try to by heart these equations to as it is write them in the exams. I don't want to take in depth about these equations because this is not a physics class, this is a computer networks class. So these equations represent the Fourier analysis. So where frequency, I mean this capital T represents the time period of your main signal. So ఈ g of t time period ఎంత ఉండాలో ఆ time period t ని ఇక్కడ యూస్ చేస్తాము, అదొందా. So this is the Fourier analysis or Fourier series. So as you can see here, since as I said, a rectangular signal, a square wave actually contains infinite frequencies. So without infinite frequencies, you can't generate a square wave. That is the reason, since any communication medium can't carry all the frequencies and there is no device which can generate all the frequencies, that is the reason every square wave will be approximated by nearby such complex wave. So as you can see here, this complex wave which is nearer to the sine wave, మీరు ఒక సింగిల్ సైన్ వేవ్ కూడా తీసుకొచ్చాము. So a single sine wave will be something like this. let me draw. Let me, it is already in green color. Single sine wave తీసుకుంటే ఇలా ఉంటుందమ్మా. Deviated, whatever, just as you can see here, if you take a single sine wave, still you are able to represent this, okay, but still to make it more easily understandable by the receiver, to make sure that there is no confusion, you are going to generate something like this. So how this signal is generated? By combining three signals. So this is the outer signal, the bigger circle, this is the second circle, this is the third circle. So outer circle's frequency is low, okay, but amplitude high. The middle circle's frequency is moderate, amplitude is moderate. The third circle frequency is high, amplitude is less. So circle means, as I said, signal. So by combining these three signals, you can generate this signal which is shown on the top. Okay, so this is the time domain representation. If you represent them in the frequency domain, this is the frequency domain. So you are sending three frequencies, f, 3f, 9f. So first main, this signal's frequency is f. The second signal frequency is 3f, because for every time interval we are sending 3. Okay, so this is 3f and this is 9f. The black signal represents 9f. So by combining these three frequencies, you are able to generate an approximation to the square wave. Okay, this is what is transmitted actually. The digital signal పంపిస్తున్నా, the digital signal వెళ్ళదమ్మ. So the digital signal will be converted into something like this. So zeros and ones high represent చేస్తున్నామంటే high అంటే ఇది కాదు, high అంటే this one, this blue color, not these dotted lines. Low means not this dotted lines, low means this blue color signal. Okay, so that is about the analog signals. And in analog signals you need to be remembering this Fourier analysis. So Fourier analysis is an important topic in this particular today's class. Okay, let's move to the digital signals. So as you can see on the here, so a digital signal will be represented like this. Okay, so గుర్తుపెట్టుకోండమ్మా, మనం ఫిజికల్ లేయర్ జనరేట్ చేయడం డిజిటల్ సిగ్నల్ జనరేట్ చేస్తుంది. బట్ దట్ డిజిటల్ సిగ్నల్ అంటే డిజిటల్ సిగ్నల్స్ అంటే ఏం లేదు, జీరోస్ అండ్ వన్స్ తో స్టార్ట్ చేస్తుంది. సో జీరోస్ అండ్ వన్స్ విల్ బి కన్వర్టెడ్ ఇంటూ ద కరెస్పాండింగ్ అనలాగ్ సిగ్నల్ యాజ్ ఐ షోన్ ఇన్ అవర్ ప్రీవియస్ స్లైడ్. Now how the digital signal actually represented? So digital signal can be represented in different manner. So one manner is shown here. So a high signal will be represented, if you take the top diagram, so a high signal will be represented for 1, a low level will be used for 0. So here we have only 2 levels. So this is called a binary signal also. So a binary signal means which is having only 2 levels. సో మీకు సిగ్నల్ లో 2 లెవెల్స్ ఉంటే మీకు ఆప్షన్ లేదు, యూ హ్యావ్ ఓన్లీ 2 ఆప్షన్స్. ఒక లెవెల్ ని 1 కింద అనుకోవాలి, ఇంకొక లెవెల్ 0 కింద కన్సిడర్ చేయాలి. సో టు కన్సిడర్ వన్ లెవెల్ యాజ్ 1, వీఆర్ కన్సిడరింగ్ level 2, high level as 1, low level as 0. There is another way. Instead of 2 levels, if you are able to distinguish between multiple levels, you can go with 4 levels also, as you can see here. So when you have 4 levels, you have 4 options. 4 options means you have 4 numbers, 1, 2, 3, 4. So 1 means it can be represented with 0, 0, 0, 1, 1, 0, 1. So each interval can be showing 2 bits now. Previously each interval can only carry 1 bit. Now each interval can carry 2 bits because the number of levels are increased. ఇప్పుడు నెంబర్ ఆఫ్ లెవెల్స్ 8 ఉంటే ప్రతి ఇంటర్వెల్ లో మనకి ఎన్ని బిట్స్ రిప్రజెంట్ చేయొచ్చు? I repeat, if the number of levels are 8, how many bits you can represent? I got only one right answer. That one right answer is 566. So 8 means 0, 0, 0, for level 1, 001 for level 2, 010 for level 3, 011 for level 4, 100 for level 5, 101 for level 6, 110 for level 7, 111 for level 8. So 8 bits and 8 levels I have means I can go with 3 bits for each interval. If 16 levels unte, I can go with 4 bits. Okay, 32 levels means I can go with these 5 bits. So depending on how many levels you have, you can increase your data rate. So data rate means we are going to learn later what is meant by data rate. So how many bits you are sending for each second. So if you take this above signal, when you have only 2 levels, you are sending 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 bits per second. If you have 4 levels, you are sending 16 bits per second. So depending on how many levels you have, you can increase the bit data rate. Okay, so that is one property, the signal level. Okay, so as I said, you have multiple terminologies you need to remember. So these are the terminologies. So bit rate. So bit rate means how many bits you are sending for each second. So in that first diagram, you can say 8 bits are transmitted for every second. In the bottom diagram, we are able to send 16 bits. And the second thing is what is the bit length. So in our previous diagram, this interval represents 1 bit. Okay, so as I said, this in turns gets back to the synchronization. So here, if the sender thinks 1/8 as one interval, if the receiver thinks 1/16 as one interval, then the miscommunication will happen. So to avoid that, bit interval plays an important role. Okay, so bit length means the distance between one bit, the distance of one bit occupies in transmission medium, the time. Okay, so that is bit length. Okay, and the third thing is based on Fourier analysis, any digital signal can be represented as a composite of analog signals. Okay, where the bandwidth of that signal is infinite. Then we clear ఇంతకు ముందు చెప్పానమ్మా మీకు నిజంగా ఒక if you clearly want a square wave to generate from your device, you need to include, say, the frequency of this signal is say f. You need to include all the frequencies 1f, 2f, 3f, 4f, and so on, infinite f. So these many frequencies must be combined, which is practically not possible. Okay, so only a portion of these signals will be sent. So you will choose, depending on your flexibility, you will choose 2 harmonics. These are called harmonics. So this is first harmonic, this is second harmonic, this is third harmonic. So you can choose 1, 2 harmonics, you can choose 1, 2, 3 harmonics, you can choose 1, 2, 4 harmonics. So depending on your choice, your need, you can go with one of these combinations. So by combining few harmonics together, your first harmonic must be always there. Without first harmonic, you won't get this frequency. So based on how many harmonics you joined, you will get a smooth square wave. Okay, so that is the properties of digital signals. Okay, so is it clear up to this particular slide? So I repeat, is it clear till this particular slide? Because the next concept is other properties that we are going to learn. So దీంతో మనకి అనలాగ్ అండ్ డిజిటల్ సిగ్నల్స్ డిఫరెన్షియేషన్ అర్థం అవ్వాలమ్మా. I mean, you must be able to understand the difference between an analog signal and a digital signal, the terminologies involved in analog signals and digital signals. In analog signals, we will be normally concentrating on what are those things called frequency, time period, amplitude, phase. Whereas in digital signals, we will be concentrating on these two terms, bit rate and bit length. Okay, so yeah, we will repeat all these concepts at the end one more time. Okay, I will give you a small summary, but anyhow, I think harmonics is a little bit difficult for you to understand. Let me do one thing. So any square wave can be represented by Fourier analysis. You can say any square wave can be said. This square wave is taking like the square wave is one cycle from here to here. Again from here to here, one cycle. From here to here, one cycle. So this time period is t, for example. So f will be 1 by t. So the frequency of this digital signal that you are sending is f. Now to represent this digital signal, you need multiple analog signals by Fourier analysis. So how many signals you need? You need a sine wave of frequency f. You need a sine wave of frequency 2f. You need a sine wave of frequency 3f. You need a sine wave of frequency 4f, and so on. You need a sine wave up to frequency infinite f. So మీకు ఇంతకు ముందు let me yeah, as you can see here, ఈ టర్మ్ ఒకటి మెయిన్ టర్మ్ అమ్మ. సో n ఈక్వల్ టు 1 టు ఇన్ఫినిటీ. సో n ఇక్కడ 1 సబ్స్టిట్యూట్ చేస్తే f వస్తుంది. n ఈక్వల్ టు 2 సబ్స్టిట్యూట్ చేస్తే you will get 2f. when you substitute n equal to 3, you will get 3f. when you substitute n equal to 4, you will get 4f. So from this, as I said, your signal must be having frequencies from 1f to infinite f. Is it clear? Yeah. So you need to combine infinite number of frequencies to get a digital signal. Okay, is it clear? That point is clear. This underlined point, infinite number of frequencies must be combined to get a digital signal. Now you can't generate infinite number of frequencies, you can't send infinite number of frequencies, then no need to think about even generating infinite frequencies. So instead of infinite, what Fourier also said is, don't send infinite. You can approximate your perfect square wave with an approximated square wave by combining multiple frequencies with guarantee using this 1f. So 1f means first harmonic, 2f means second harmonic, 3f means third harmonic. So what Fourier said is, don't use infinite harmonics. Okay, use first harmonic and second harmonic at least, and approximate your perfect rectangular or square wave with an analog signal. Okay, so that is what is meant by this term. So a portion of frequency harmonics will be used to approximate your digital signal. Okay, is it clear now? Now, so this is about the analog and digital signals. So the next one that you need to be familiar with is this thing. As you can see on the left side, as I said in one of my previous class, I make you recollect one Newton's law: energy can't be destroyed, can't be generated. It can be only transformed from one form to another form. Now, when signals goes through a medium, the receiver will not get the same signal as it is as sent by the sender. Why? Because every medium adds three properties, three types of distortions to your signal. Okay, So those three distortions are impairments are attenuation, distortion, noise. So attenuation, distortion, noise. So attenuation is related to what I said about the Newton's law. When signal, which is actually a composite signal, travels through a medium, as I said previously, a single frequency can't represent a digital signal. You need multiple frequencies combining together. So which is called as a composite signal. So a composite signal, when it travels through a medium, loses some of its energy as heat. ఓకే. సో ఈ హీట్ ఎందుకు వస్తుంది అంటే మనకి సిగ్నల్ అనేది ఎడ్జెస్ ఎప్పుడు స్మూత్ గా ఉండవమ్మా. ఎడ్జెస్ ఆర్ లిటిల్ బిట్ రఫ్. సో వెన్ ద సిగ్నల్ bombards those edges, so part of the signal will be lost as heat. So that is called attenuation, which is also called as resistance of a medium. Okay, so electrical point of view lo maatladali ante you can say resistance. Okay, so resistance, less resistance means less heat, more resistance means more heat will be generated. So part of your signal will be lost as heat. Okay, so in electronics point of view, communication point of view, you will call it as attenuation. When you send a signal, the signal will lose some of its amplitude. Okay, మీరు పీక్ సిగ్నల్ పంపించడం 5 volts పంపిస్తారు, బట్ ద రిసీవర్ విల్ ఓన్లీ రిసీవ్ 3.3 volts, 4 volts, something like that, depending on how much far away from you he is. Okay, so that is called attenuation. And in attenuation, the level of attenuation is represented by decibels. Okay, and the second parameter is distortion. So distortion means, so you may be sending a sine wave. Okay, it is already distorted. What the receiver received is, I can't draw this like this, just give me a minute. So what the receiver received is, yeah, actually he sent a sine wave, but he received something like this, like my drawing. So smooth sine wave la kaakunda koncham idi bends anpistundi, as it is sine wave kaadu, there is some distortion. So you can't say this is a perfect sine wave. So sine wave is distorted some way because of the medium. So if there is single frequency, no issue. So మీకు చెప్పాలి అంటే, when you move light through glass, something like a prism, light will be separated, okay, dispersed, and so that is nothing but because of the frequencies, which is nothing but wavelengths. Because of different frequencies involved in a single white light, the light will be separated because every frequency shows different physical property, that is nothing but bending at the surface. So light ఎప్పుడైతే మనకి త్రూ గ్లాస్ వెళ్తుందో, depending on what frequency it is carrying, each frequency will bend in different manner. That is the reason why you got Wuxia colors from white light. That is nothing but even the rainbow. In the same way, our digital signal carries multiple frequencies. When these multiple frequencies goes through the medium, every frequency will be affected in different manners. So at the receiver side, when the received frequencies combinedly showed as single signal, it will be not as it is by the sender, it will be distorted a little. So that is called the second thing. And the third thing is not about not related to physical properties, it is an external factor, noise. Okay, a noise can be thermal noise. So along with your communication lines, there is some power lines going on. So power lines generates more heat compared to communication lines. So that heat is interfering with your communication or other thing. So you are you are using Wi-Fi, and someone also started their Wi-Fi hotspot in the same frequency range. So your signal and their signal will collide with one another. That is one type of interference. So some military communication is intentionally jammed by the attacking armies. Okay, so using jammers, that is also a noise. Okay, so all these things are external factors. So this is the third property which may cause impairment in your signal. So these three are the three things which affects with how much speed a person can use the communication medium. Okay, so is it clear with these three terms? Attenuation, distortion, noise. Okay, so noise is also represented in decibels, attenuation is also represented in decibels. We will see what is meant by decibel. I think I added here. So decibel means um, uh, um, 10 log 10 P2 by P1. For example, here P2 means what you received, P1 means what is sent by the sender. సో ఇప్పుడు సెండర్ 10 volts పంపిస్తే రిసీవర్ 1 volt రిసీవ్ చేసుకుంటే దెన్ ద attenuation is 10 by 1 log 10 log 10, that is 10 decibel. I repeat, sender sent 10 volts, receiver received only 1 volt peak amplitude. Now how much attenuation is there means 10 log base 10 10 by 1, that is 10 decibel. Okay, so that is how you are going to represent. If you are talking about noise, so signal to noise ratio, there is one term called SNR. So signal by noise. Okay, so P2 will be your signal, P1 will be your noise. So how much ratio is there in between the signal and the noise? So noise ratio, noise proportion is more means you can't get your signal back. If noise level is moderate means you can try. Noise signal is very less means there is no need to worry. So that is the logic here. So depending on all these previous things, that is the fundamental properties of communication mediums and communication type, whether communication signals, every communication medium provides a specific data rate. Okay, so a very important consideration in data communication is how fast you can send data. So as you can see, 3G, 4G, 5G, nothing but they are trying to improve the data rate more and more. In 3G, it is very difficult to even get 1 Mbps, not even 1 Mbps, it is completely a dream in 3G. So you can get mostly 200 kbps download speed. సో ఒక మూవీ డౌన్లోడ్ చేస్తుంటే మీకు మాక్సిమం 200 kbps 250 kbps స్పీడ్ వస్తుంది నార్మల్ మన నార్మల్ పబ్లిక్ యూస్ చేసే ఇంటర్నెట్ లో. If you take this 4G, you are getting something like 2 Mbps, 3 Mbps. Sometimes I even see 5 Mbps, 6 Mbps in Airtel, Jio, all these things. Okay, because they improved the data rate and they are trying to improve it more. Something like you can download 1 GB in a second, 1 Gbps also. So that is, you can say you can expect it in 5G or 6G, whatever it is. So the main motto of computer networks everyone tries is improving the data rate. So to improve data rate, you need to concentrate on all the other parameters. Okay, so data rates normally depends on 3 parameters. So one is how much bandwidth is available. That means how much clear ga cheppali ante, if you take a water pipe, this water pipe can carry, will have a radius, you can't send water more than that radius. Okay, సో ఎప్పుడు చూసినా రేడియస్ కి మించి పంపించడానికి పాసిబిలిటీ లేదమ్మా. యూ కెన్ సెండ్ వాటర్ లెస్, మీకు ఎక్కువ పాసిబిలిటీ ఉన్నా తక్కువ పంపించవచ్చు, హాఫ్ లెవెల్ వరకు పంపించవచ్చు లేదా ఫుల్ పంపించవచ్చు, అందుకని ఎక్కువ పంపించవచ్చు. సో బ్యాండ్ విడ్త్ ఈస్ సంథింగ్ లైక్ దట్. So how much radius your communication medium is having. I'm not talking about physical radius with respect to communication. Okay, less radius means less bandwidth, more radius means more bandwidth. You can think like that. Okay, and how many levels are there in your signal? I said previously 2 levels, and we have only 2 bit, 1 bit for each signal, each interval. If you have 4 levels, you can send 2 bits for each interval. If you have 8 levels, you can send 3 bits for each interval. So that is also an important factor. Okay, and the third thing, the quality of channel, ante how much attenuation is there, how much distortion can be there, how much signal to noise, I mean how much noise you are getting in the communication medium. This is also a place a very important role. So based on these three parameters, you can decide how much data rate you can get. Okay, that is the reason in Wi-Fi we are getting less data rate compared to broadband. Okay, in Wi-Fi we have more interference compared to broadband communication. ఇంకొక ఎగ్జాంపుల్ చెప్పాలి అంటే అమ్మా, I think everyone using share it. At least you used share it at some point. Yes or no? I repeat, everyone is familiar with share it application, right? So I'm going to ask one question. Did you observe a specific thing in share it? When you put those two mobiles together very nearer to one another, you will get more speed than when you put those mobiles a little bit away from one another. Even they will show you a message on top. Keep your mobiles closer to one another. Yes or no? Because if you put those mobiles together, since the distance is very less, attenuation will be very less. If you increase the distance, attenuation will be more. Okay, ఒక లిమిట్ దాటితే మీరు 5 volts పంపిస్తే వాడికి 0 volts వస్తుంది అంటే అర్థం కాదు ఏం పంపిస్తున్నారు. ఈవెన్ 1 volt 2 volt వచ్చిన అర్థం కాదు. దట్స్ ద రీజన్ you put those signals together, you will put those mobiles nearer to one another. And second thing, when you put those things nearer to one another, your signal to noise ratio will be high. That means your signal ratio will be high, noise will be less. If you increase something like this, more distance, so for example, if you send 5 volts, the receiver is getting 3 volts and he is getting a noise of 3 volts, so you will get confused. Ade దగ్గరగా ఉన్నాయి అనుకోండి, he will get, when you send 5 volts, he is getting something like 4.5 volt signals, 3 volts noise, so noise will be compensated. So that is the logic here. So the quality of channel plays a very important role in our communication. So bandwidth, level of signal we use, and the quality of channel. So based on these parameters, there are two equations which can give you how much data rate you can get from your communication medium. So if your communication has no issue with quality, that means no noise will be there, external factor, then the communication medium's data rate will be something like this, 2 into, it will be completely depending on these two parameters. Okay, so only these two parameters will be used if your communication is noiseless channel, because there is no noise. Okay, quality is high. So the bandwidth can be calculated, bitrate can be calculated as 2 into bandwidth into log number of levels into 2, base 2. Okay, and if you are having noisy channel, then the communication medium's capacity, which is nothing but bitrate, maximum bitrate, will be bandwidth into signal to noise ratio. Okay, this must be not in decibels. గుర్తుపెట్టుకున్నాము. If you get decibel, you need to convert it decibel to normal value. Normally in some questions they will mention the signal to noise ratio is 10 decibels, so you need to convert that decibels into normal terms. I will show you one example also. Okay, so that is about these two equations. Remember these two equations. You are going to get quiz questions problems from these equations. Let me show you. Yeah, as you can see here, if the signal, the noise signal to noise ratio is given in decibel, you can use this equation to convert them. Okay, so normal value in decibel lo convert cheyalante idi use chestamu, left side equation. If you use right side equation, you can convert decibel values to normal. Okay, so let me show you two examples, 3 examples. So as you can see here, I don't want to explain these examples in depth. Just you can see the first question is Consider a noiseless channel. That means you can go with the first equation, 2b log L base 2. Okay, with a bandwidth of 3000 hertz. So 2 into bandwidth. So 2 into bandwidth into log number of levels base 2 is the equation. So bandwidth is at 3000 and number of levels is 2. As you can see, 2 signal levels. Sometimes you will see these 2 signal levels or they will say binary signal. Okay, so and one more thing I need to repeat. So few days back your friends when your seniors attempted Hexaware drive. So Hexaware is also asking computer networks questions. So you may get these type of questions there also. So remember this. So bitrate in noiseless channel will be 2 into bandwidth into log L base 2. So you substitute these 3. So his second question, instead of 2, he said the signal levels are 4. So instead of 2, you put 4, you got 12,000 bits per second. So this can also be shown as 6 kbps. Always use small b. Small b represents bits, capital B represents bytes. So 12,000 bits per second. So 12 kbps. If you take the third question. So third question asked in reverse. We need to send 265 kbps over a noiseless channel with bandwidth 20. So they mentioned this bandwidth term. They mentioned the bit rate 265,000 and they are asking you to find out where. So you can use this equation. You will need to shift them one side to another. So log L base 2 is 6.625. L means 2 power 6.625, that is 98.7 levels. That means you can say 100 levels, but it must be in terms of 2. So you can write 100 levels. So which is, you can say 128 level signal at least you need to use. Okay, so that is about these noiseless channels. So if you go with the noisy channels, so this is the question. There is a channel with 1 million hertz bandwidth and signal to noise ratio of that channel is 63. Here they have not mentioned this 63 as decibel. Okay, so if you substitute in the corresponding equation b into log 1 plus SNR, so b is 1 million. 1 million means 10 power 6. So 10 power 6 into log 2 log 1 plus 63 base 2, that means log 64 base 2, that is nothing but 2 power 6 2 power 8, right? Sorry, 2 power 6 is 64. So if you bring that 6 here, I think everyone is strong in math. So 10 power 6 into log 2 power 6 base 2, that is nothing but 10 power 6 into 6 into log 2 base 2, that is 6 into 10 power 6. Okay, so that is 6 Mbps. So this is how you calculate the maximum data rate in noisy channel. So as you can see here, in noisy channel, signal levels not play no role with respect to capacity. Okay, the important factors are these two things: signal to noise ratio and bandwidth. So that is the end of today's session. So if you have any doubts, you can ask. If you have no doubts, you can leave and you can attempt the quiz. Okay, if you have any doubts, you can stay. I will explain the concept that you are having doubt.